Welcome to part 9. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this part, so I appreciate your patience. Today we're going to look at some comparisons and look at the differences. And I'm still not trying to say one way over the other. I still think there's a lot of scriptures that need to be talked about to get full understanding. And that's what this is all about, to give everyone opportunity to look at all the scriptures that pertain to this potentially and get understanding, and then bring home a conclusion, hopefully at the end, and see where this goes. Else if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. All that day, all that night, break of dawn to break of dawn is one day, and then in the morning or the morrow, the locusts come. This makes sense, it seems like. Now let's take that same scenario and start it with evening to evening idea and see if we can fit it in. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. When it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. Else if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast. So all that day would be over here, and then we'd have to go backwards all that night. Doesn't really quite make sense. And then the morrow, the locusts come. So yeah, there's no real good way to present this with this view. If you have another take, I'd appreciate it, but I really can't come up with anything great to present this order of events. Just doesn't seem to make sense, but not discounting it as of yet. I think there's still a lot of scriptures that need to be discussed. I just want to start presenting. I know some people are itching for their view, and so it's not that I didn't want to get to these scriptures. I just wanted to lay a groundwork for both views, and let's really talk about them and see what makes the most sense. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre at the end of the Sabbath. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they come up to the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. Now here's the other view, that the evening begins, that same scenario. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, carrying Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. This would be the end of the Sabbath. And then very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. So with this view, they kind of got to be in two places at once. So it doesn't really kind of make sense either. So this seems to give more credence to the day, the break of dawn beginning, with these two different comparisons we've looked at. But don't forget, we saw some earlier that seemed to give credence to the evening beginning. So I don't think the case is solved yet. I think we still need to look at all the scriptures and bring them together and make harmony out of them, if we can. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. Here's the break of dawn view. And then the same day at evening, during the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were assembled for the fear of Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and said to them, peace be unto you. So this makes sense with this view. That evening was the same day, first day of the week, as the break of dawn spoken earlier during the day. Now that same view with evening beginning scriptures, and from evening to evening, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. Then the same day at evening, this would be not the same day, it would be the second day of the week. So it doesn't really make sense with this view either. So here's a few scriptures again that just seem to be giving credence to the day beginning. But again, let's not jump to conclusions. There's still a lot to be talked about. I know we all want to hang our hat somewhere, and we want to hang it correctly. Let's give opportunity for all the views and not jump to conclusions. It does seem to be leaning one way or the other, but eventually, hopefully, it'll become clear. Jumping back to the other view which giving credence, Josephus gives credence to the evening beginning, the scriptures from evening to evening. And Josephus wrote, at the beginning of every seventh day, in the evening twilight, as also in the evening when that day was finished, as giving notice to the people when they were to leave off work and when they were to work again. You can see the full, or the most of it there in the yellow and black there. He was talking about the trumpet being blown. So it's blown here and then blown here when the day ends. So you're to get off work when the evening comes, and then you could go to work again when the Sabbath is over at evening. So Josephus seems to give credit to the evening to evening view. We're going to keep working our way through these, and hopefully it'll make sense in the end. This is the offering Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer unto the Lord in the day when he is anointed. The 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a meat offering, perpetual, half in the morning and half there of the night. And the flesh of that sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day that is offered. He shall not leave any of it till morning. So this seems to give credence to the day beginning with break of dawn. Don't leave it till morning. Now let's look at the other view. This is an offering of Aaron of his sons, which they shall offer unto the Lord in the day when he is anointed, a 10th part of an of flour for meat offering, perpetual, half of it in the morning and half thereof at night. And the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings for the thanksgiving shall be eaten the same day it is offered. He shall not leave any of it till morning. So if you don't leave any till morning in this view, then you can't even offer any in the day part, but you're commanded to. So this view, starting with evening, doesn't make sense again. So there's just a lot to take in. You know, it seems to be leaning towards a day beginning the scriptures when we presented this, but I just ask for your patience and let others have an opportunity to explain their view, because they have some good points that need to be discussed and talked about. And we'll hopefully start talking about those maybe in part 10 or 11. Just want to start showing comparisons why each have a view of understanding of scriptures. Now, obviously, God has the prominent view, and we need to have his understanding. And if you jump back to part 1, I think you might kind of see where God's coming from, and we'll hopefully bring this home. I hope I can. I don't know if I can, but I'll give it my best effort. Love you always. Pete Jefferson out. Hope you have a great day.